Yo. What's going on, y'all? How y'all living, man? Is everybody good? You understand what I'm saying? Cause let me take a good quick look at y'all real fast. Is y'all straight? Cause let me take a moment to breathe right now. Cause I mean, I'm hella excited right now. You don't even understand, man. I'm thankful for having y'all tune in right now to the newest episode on my podcast, Into the Palace, here on Metal's Palace. I am Metal, your dance doctor. Don't you forget it. But we're not talking about that. All right, we're here to talk about my man, Baby Tight Eyes. You understand what I'm saying? I finally got him on. I already knew since I started the podcast that I had to bring him on to do what we do here, which is have conversations about the dance culture, dance communities, you know what I mean? Things of that nature, where I already knew he was a valid source that I had to have in this lineup. So I'm just thankful for him to be able to share his knowledge, perspective, wisdom, insight, the whole shebang. You dig what I'm saying? So Beast, coming at you, man. I got to say thank you for your time, for being able to rap with me on this. You know what I mean? I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all. Thank you for real. This is fun, man. And
You know
you're
what I
one of
mean?
the people that we watch on YouTube. Me and Kyle be putting up your videos, like.
You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Kyle. You know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy because I didn't even peep this the way you threw it at me, where you got a battle coming out right now. You know what I mean? Right now. And I just felt it's only proper that we just gonna start this whole thing off watching you throw down. You know what I mean?
Why not? This is my first time watching it too.
I mean, I saw it, so I already knew what happened. You know what I mean? We finna get this thing cracking. Y'all know how we get the. Okay, let me get the audio on though, cause that's what I need up. Okay, one more time. Yeah. There he is. There he is. Gang, gang.
Oh, it started right away. Okay.
Gang, gang. Huh? Huh? Oh shit. To see him throw down in person was definitely a lot better for me than just watching the
Right.
videos.
You could really feel his.
Yeah. Damn. Get busy then, dog. Nice. Damn.
Yeah, that hoodie thing. I was.
Right. Dude is creative as fuck. I'm gonna give him that one.
Yeah. I tried to rebuttal that in my round.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice, man. That shit is trippy, man.
He's gonna go hella far into this.
Sure. Nice. That shit is crazy. Yo. That's just round one. And I gotta give context, man. Dude had a whole tournament he won the same night. This back to back right now.
Shout out to Player. He helped me make this intro.
Word.
I had to respect him. I knew he was gonna come out with an intro, so I had to do an intro too.
Nice. Nah. Nah,
Ooh, they filmed this crazy.
man, they got you looking proper.
You got me looking tall as fuck.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nah. Yee. Nice. Nice.
See, this is where I try to rebuttal
Right.
and pull him back.
Word.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. And I just started beating him up.
I mean, you got to. Damn.
Yo, this is so dope, man. Like, it's just so dope to see the two different worlds, man.
Right. The clash, man.
It's crazy.
That beast fight is right there. You shouldn't be the beast. You don't think you can beat the beast, does you?
I
Yeah, this
respect
intro
it.
was tight, yeah.
Yeah. I love how much thought he puts in
I'm
every
saying.
battle, though.
Because for me, I'm thinking, where did you even find this?
Right. Like every battle he does, though.
Yeah. Respect.
That kind of inspired me. Sometimes I'd be bullshit. I'd be like,
Sure.
damn, I might take that. That was cool.
Nice.
I did kind of find it weird that we had like a little time limit though. Like I was ready to go
Just go out.
for blood. Yeah. But yeah, especially bro. Like after this round, we both said we wanted to just keep going.
Right. Just let it go all out.
Yeah, 'cause we were learning. It was like when Saiyans just keep fighting each other, like getting stronger within the battle. Like,
Was this setting you feel like proper for you to be able to do what you wanted to do?
I think the tournament helped me out for sure. Be comfortable.
Okay.
Because of course, like it was probably only like 2 Krumpers and like
Sure, of
other
course.
like
To represent.
right.
What we cooking? He missed that. Oh no! Oh nah, that's when I lost my mind.
I actually thought the music was gonna say what I mouthed, but I was off.
shit,
but
okay.
then it still
Keep
turned
it
out
real.
cool. Yeah.
Now your energy behind it though, that's
Is that part when he said something like "give a player to you"? I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna say that,
Say that that's
like
part,
8
yeah.
8 counts before, but it still
I
worked
get
out.
you, yeah. You fooled me. You know what I mean?
I felt like this round could have went OD.
If they would have just let him fly.
Right. And I knew he felt it too,
Sure.
but I mean, it is what it is.
Nice.
Like what? So freaking talented, man.
Yeah.
and he wants to like me and him are gonna start exchanging. So I want to
Nice.
show him some Krump stuff.
Yeah.
It's
That's
gonna be
beautiful.
bad, bro.
Ugh. Nice. Creative as fuck, man. Nice.
Yep, I remember this.
Nice.
Bro, this is getting me hyped, man.
All over again.
Yeah, he's so good.
No.
I know. Look, that's that's why.
He just got straight cut off. I don't even remember. Damn, man. Nah, dog. Woo, that extension. Nah. Damn. Boom. Nah, he brought it back. Huh?
God, I forgot I did all this.
Nice. Whoa. Yeah. God damn. Nah. Nice. Respect, man. Again, coming straight off of a tournament.
Nah, that
Still
was,
throwing those rounds like that. What are you doing? What are you talking about, man?
hey, right?
That was nice, man. How did you feel about the whole exchange for you?
Yeah, it was fun, bro. I mean, I already know with those type of battles and with that type of setting, I mean, it's just my job to just do what I do and not be worried about like where's the hype, where's the love, because I'm speaking another language.
Right.
So at least let me speak my language as confidently and as like passionately as I can,
Sure.
you know. So that could be contagious to be like, yo, I felt that. I don't understand it, but I felt that. And that's the response I was getting a lot that night, to where like Sage started rocking with me, and then CJ Ray came through like one of my Monday practices. And if you want to come through too, bro, my fan be labbing on Mondays. I know it might be
At the
far,
mob.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, bro. So
Because I want to talk about all that, everything that you're touching right now. I want to be able to speak
bro.
on that.
It's a small group of people that, you know, I want to make it intimate and
Of course.
and stuff. But yeah, regarding the exchange, I mean, I'm a big fan of Arsenal, and it pushed me to just expand. Like when you get to a certain level, like it's hard to find inspiration, and it's hard to like be excited. So I think with dance, we kind of have like an advantage over like sport, you know what I mean? Like if a basketball player wants to go to like baseball or whatever, that's super different. And to compete is super different. But with dance is like we could exchange while still being like, let's say a basketball player versus a football player. Like you can't do that at all. You know? Yeah. So yeah, I think we're lucky enough to do that. And yeah, I just want to keep battling the best. So
Of course.
with all styles, I feel like I battled a handful of like people from my generation
Right.
and the people before me, and now it's all about the up and coming. And
Sure, sure, sure.
I mean, of course, Arsenal has been dope, but now that he's getting the limelight,
Of course. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that later when it comes to like different generations and kind of like even just elaborate a little bit on your experiences from when you came in and all the different, generations that you've been a part of,
Right.
even within the dance or just focused on Krump. But just in general, what we were talking about, where I feel like you got your hands on a lot of different things. I feel like you're a busy guy right now. You know what I mean? After here, you got
Yeah.
some people to work with. You got communities that you tapping in with. You understand what I mean? Where does some of that drive come from to make you do what you do? You know what I mean?
Well, I always live by like this quote. I mean, I can't like say it verbatim, but basically, like, you shouldn't worry about like originality, like being the best or whatever. You should just worry about doing the right thing.
Okay.
And then originality, being the best, and all that comes later.
I hear you.
So, and I'm like living proof because I wasn't in a rush to even. I don't even feel like. I mean, I know I am, but I don't feel like I'm in this limelight either because.
Right.
But even if I am, I have to say like, well, I got here because I just thought of like what was the right thing to do,
Being
which
true
was
to
like,
you. Yeah.
yeah, like if it was helping people out. That's why being involved in so many communities. I grew up in like the church. I grew up in
Right.
social justice groups. I grew
Sure.
up in just a lot of communities, like, and then my last community was the dance community itself. So with everything I learned from like being in social justice group and being in the church and being in like the family, so
Right.
yeah, that's the drive. I mean, it does get exhausting when your focus is a little bit here, like let's say in the fame and in the views, which I think you should be able to have a hand on, but it shouldn't be
Right.
your main focus. So
course.
I think when you start to get
I
distracted
I
by it,
definitely feel you on that.
yeah, once you start to make that priority higher than like what's your core, that's where things starts to get
Yeah,
confusing.
it definitely does. So then even within like some of that background that I feel like I can put like a label on that to say that's Sherwin right there. That's some
Right.
of like the core fundamentals for like who you are. When did the dance start to become like part of the picture, or at least like was it Krump automatically, or was it like something else that then got you connected to start seeing Krump, kind of like those beginning stages?
Yeah, with Krump, it started with my family, so that for
Okay.
sure that was a big community because my siblings, we did everything together. So we
As in
did
like
sports.
y'all danced together?
Yeah, that was the last thing we did together was
Okay.
like the performing arts. So we did, like,
Word.
of course, we're family, so we did music together. So I was
Nice.
playing guitar, my sister was
Okay.
playing piano. I have two
I
other
wonder why
brothers,
you be
older.
fucking shit up. 'Cause you
Yeah,
already
yeah,
got
I didn't.
understanding on
I didn't
music.
realize that till later. But
Of
then,
course.
yeah, my older brother played drums, and then
Okay.
my oldest was kind of like he just the overseer, but he played a little bit of bass.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to church together, and then we went to the social justice group, and then around that time, that's when my sister showed me Rise or us Rise, so we watched Rise
Ah.
together. So all of us tried to Krump, and we didn't know what we were doing. We were just
course.
following what Rise did. And then I was the one that took it because I kept meeting people when I went to high school, and then and then they just
Like-
knew what I was doing.
Right. What about it for you? Like when you watched that movie, if you can recall some of the memories, like why Krump? Like did it just do something for you spiritually?
I mean,
or
yep, all of that. I mean, the documentary itself, like the stories, man, just I felt like they were speaking my story through them too. So from like growing up, because I grew up in Carson, Long
to
Beach
him.
area, and I was
Talk to
all, so with like divorced home, oldest brother was in the gang, like
Right.
all of that stuff, and being in school when, like around our time, like gangbanging was still hot.
Carson is
like,
hot.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
hot. So walking, in certain parks and all that, like getting banged on,
For sure.
So that stuff just you have to compress it, and it's like what Slayer said. We're not like heathens and thugs.
Right.
What we are, like we're oppressed. So I felt that, and then Krump just felt like the perfect outlet to release it, because I was quiet, and because my environment told me to be quiet, because like, oh, you seen this shooting, or you seen like your older brother like get in a fight, and my older brother like, you know, like, yo, don't tell mom about this, don't tell this, you know. So
I kind of
yeah,
want to segue
it was
a
the
little
stories,
bit,
bro.
I want to segue right into like this question, because I felt like this was one of my favorite questions, because I asked some of the people in the community, like, you know what I mean, I'm finna rap with you on certain things, and what do y'all want me to ask him? But this one in particular kind of led me to bring it up right now, just because you kind of talked out in it a little bit. One of the questions was, can you please ask him what people in his family or close to him, like who are your elders, how did they feel about, you know, like Krump? Because, you know, when people always see it, it definitely look wild, or like, of course they don't understand it. So with your cultural upbringing, like did they like applaud you for that, you know, or was it like a nah, stop doing that kind of vibe? Or
With my siblings, of course, they supported it because we did it together. And then when they saw me just be really good at it from the beginning, yeah, they were dope, or they were supportive. My mom, she's like my number one supporter too.
Love to hear that, man.
You know, yeah, she always showed up to any performance I went to in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, she even opened up her house, our house to the practices, the labs, like 3 a.m. So her philosophy is like, as long as you're doing whatever you want to do at the crib, you good. Like, you could
sure
throw a party here. You could like do this and that. I mean, of course, not like crazy, but
right.
All we wanted to do was dance. So she's like, okay, like have the homie sleep over and stuff. You know, so I was more closer. Right, I was more closer to my mom, and then later on, I got closer to my dad because I moved in with him. And he didn't really understand, but he was, you know, those typical like, well, what are you gonna do for your career? You know, and you should be a mechanic, like you're good at math and stuff like that.
Right.
But my second time going to the Philippines because of Krump, and when he started to realize I was starting to become like this figure, he actually went to one of the events, and I didn't know, like,
in the Philippines.
Yeah, so my twin, you know, in Krump we have a rank, so my twin, my little homie, he said, yo, like, your dad's here. And I was in the middle of judging, like, what? And that was the first time that was the first time he even showed up or anything, and for it to be a big thing, like, in the Philippines. So from there, when he saw like what I did, and he saw my showcase, or I think I battled, and then from there he just you know, always talked about it and was super supportive and stuff. And yeah, so it was just a period of like times, but it was mostly support. Yeah,
that's good then. Because for me, like, I definitely have heard so many different people's experiences and how they view it, and you know what I mean. Of course, you know, there's always that negative side of things that people kind of gravitate to when it comes to Krump. So I felt like it was going to be interesting just to hear how it was for you, at least with your family and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah, I think because, you know, with my mom, like, she experienced, and with my dad too, she experienced a lot with my oldest brother, like, being involved in gangs and stuff. And, you know, so once they saw like it was an outlet, like, they didn't understand, but when they saw it, really kept me out of the streets and
what it really
just
meant.
Dancing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was.
I can hear you on that. Because I feel like definitely a lot of those core elements, like, again, because of kind of what I try to emphasize for a lot of people. I know dance is different today in a way where it kind of is beneficial to make it more of a like thing career. That's open for everybody and career driven things. But a lot of these things come from these inner hoods or like these areas where like it was called a street dance for like a reason. You know what I mean? So then for a lot of those eras, you know what I mean, I wanted to have you kind of speak a little bit about like when you started hitting sessions, how was the environments, what was your like experiences when you first started labbing with actual people, like what got you in those doors, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, the first time, my first Krump friend and Krump teacher, his name was Steven, and we were in the same Spanish class. So I was in.
Oh, this is in school.
I was a freshman. Yeah, I was a freshman, and it was Halloween, and they were like, "Oh, my teacher was like, does anyone want to show talent?" And then they're like, "Steven, get Buck." So he tried to do like some weird animal noises, and everyone was like, just get buck, bro. Like, imagine a big dude, like, he was pretty big dude, like, you know, like, his shirt was this long shorts, you know, like, Timbs on.
Back in the day, yeah.
Right, and then when he got off, like, back in the day, it was about how big your chest pop was, so his chest pop was touching his chin.
God
like, without even doing it, like, I was like,
know
yo.
mine can't do that.
So I was like, yo, that looks like Krump. And he said, yeah, Krump and Buck is the same thing. He said, I live near this park. And then, yeah, so I didn't know. I didn't have his number. I didn't know where he lived. But I went to that park that same day and waited for like an hour and a half, hoping somehow he'll come through.
Right.
And then when I was about to leave, he came through with his mom, like, on the way. Showed me that track, Glory to God, for giving us something, Buck.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started to get involved in the community, and it was intense, man. Like,
was that something that was close to you, or was that like, where was that community at? In Carson?
It was in Carson. So it was in Callis Park, like near some of the elementary schools and like the middle schools, near the 405 too, where you exit Avalon. Yeah.
Okay.
So Carson Mall. It's Carson Mall-ish.
I got you.
Yeah. So and then just the different communities. I mean, was just crazy. Like, it was happening at such a fast pace. It's like different cliques, you know, but then they all had a passion. So it was just dope to see what different groups were passionate about. So some groups were more passionate about family. Some more groups were passionate about like spreading the word, you know, or
I got you.
Even just fame, or like, you know, like getting girls. Like there was stuff like that. So to see all of it intertwine and being young, and that's where you could literally choose who you want to be through these communities and what you want to jump into, because you are who you hang around with. So
of course,
yeah, it was crazy, and I think it was such a healthy thing to grow up in, because you literally could see these environments, but it was a safer place because you had a positive like goal, which was dance. Yeah.
Speaking on your development now from that time period moving forward, is like Steven one of the people that was like your main source, or was it something that like then you started to expand beyond, and then you got connected with some of those like more familiar names?
Yes. Yeah. So I was growing fast. I'm not even going cap.
No,
like
so
so Steven was under Recognize. So he was Kid Recognize. So when he felt like he was done teaching me in like a couple months, I went for the big dog. I said, yo, this is like, you know. So then I went under his fam as Tiny Recognize, and then I started to get a little better than him within 2-3 months. And then Beast, the OG Beast, and then Gabe, they were like, yo, you're better than him. You should be under us. So then I was like, okay. And then that happened. So I went under Beast, and then it was Beast and Gabe. And then from there, I just kept battling Gabe every day. He was calling me like, yo, you know, like, what are you doing? Battle. And I was with my shorty. I was like, damn, I got to go. So every day, battle.
That commitment, yeah.
And then, you know, so that was like for a while, but that was fun because we started to go to Long Beach, to Torrance, you know, to Glendale. And then once I started to do that, and I felt like I was beating people in my regions, then I started to go to the bigger sessions where Todd Eyes came. And then when Todd Eyes first saw me, I actually, few times, so I could cut the story short. I did a tournament, and I was just kind of a nobody still in their eyes, and I went all the way to the finals. And
as
then,
Beast.
And then, yeah, as Little Beast, actually.
Little
so
Beast.
I was Little
so
Beast,
yet.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, yo, he came out of nowhere. We don't know who he is, but, you know, and I battled Basics, who's like my partner now, which is crazy. Like, we have a fam together, Strikers.
Nice.
And he's twin. He's one of Todd Eyes' twin Style Ripper and Style Tie Dye. So anyways, yeah, so it was just a ongoing thing, and I think that's beautiful, just the connections from here to all the way to the top.
From that park,
and even that's still till today, you know. And I think, you know, there's debates on like how accessible we are now, because for me, I didn't get to meet my heroes till like 4 years into the game. I had to really soak into my community and then go out. Nowadays, you
that's
can
actually
literally
valid.
nowadays you could really take a class from me in your first day of Krump, which is dope.
Right.
But it can also be problematic too.
I definitely want to talk about again like them generational differences. You know what I mean? How you just spoke on that. That's for sure. Like something that I've thought about on my own as well. And then even to just hear your story, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that park thing is so important. Because without that, I'm not saying, of course, you probably still could have been everything that you are, but I feel like that was just a valid piece. Like you said, you was finna leave. If you had left, would you still have, made it another day, or would you have gave up on that? You know what I mean? Like that part right there is so crucial to me. I kind of wanted to know, while you're going through these phases and you're talking about the commitment you have, where you have to literally tell old girl, hey, look, I rock with you, I fuck with you, I gotta go. I gotta go battle. You know what I mean? Like, was it, what was the process? Like, was it literally like labs every day, battles all the time? What was that structure for when it comes to your training for your development? Because I feel like a lot of people don't know how to like practice, or they don't know how to get to this space to be able to operate. So they just go about doing things how they think, like, I'm gonna just practice 24 hours a day all the time, and then they don't,
I mean, it's a weird generational switch, because when I was coming up, my best teacher was experience. Like we lab and we had like a couple ideas we wanted to do, but it was real like vague ideas, like especially with Krump. It was like, okay, like I still remember some stuff just pulling your body, and we would just expand that. But where we really learned and really just had to be it was through battle. So my first time in a Krump session, I didn't even session, I just battled, and we were just battling like all day. Battling was just like a thing, like and sessioning. So like practicing wasn't really a lot. We were just dancing, like we were just sessioning, we were exchanging through that, and like like getting ideas through real-time stuff, instead of just standing there and kind of like what do I need to work? Like there was no such thing as that now. So that's why with the generational switch of today, it's kind of opposite, to where like I feel like even for me, I'll be too much into the lab and little bit of experience. And then same with the new students, like they are so worried about, well, I don't feel and look right, and I'm just like, just go. Like you have to just I'm not gonna try lie, it. That was me. Yeah, you have to just make mistakes and just go, and that's how we learn. But it's all about finding balance. And we wish we had. It's weird, like we wish we had what everyone else had now, like the knowledge and all. But then what we had too is what the soil, and that's why like
yeah.
So that's something we need to pass down, and not just like kind of be bitter, like, man, like spoon feeding, or this generation has it easier. But then like we also had it more authentic though, so we can't really compare like who had it easier, because we had it like it's almost done. Like you can't really duplicate like the garage sessions, the Mama Toon's house. You can't duplicate that, and we try to in class format, but that's
I hear you.
That's like
sure.
barely of so yeah.
Because even within my style, like there's definitely elements of it that like I miss a lot, and it makes me look at things differently now, because that passion that came from a lot of those things don't currently exist. And so it's like I have to refine a way to connect with today's approach, or like the people that are in it today kind of thing, because those spaces that I also came up in, they're not really here no more. And then even like the people and all these other different things. So I definitely connect with you on that. You touched on the session, and I recently caught that documentary with Eyex speaking on how important the session was, and for you being like that's the experience portion of it, to where that literally catapulted you to become who you are due to that. Now that experience for itself, I personally don't have something like that, or I can't recall being in a space where that is like a thing that I can say, yeah, I was a part of that too. But that part I feel like is so crucial, because of what I'm sensing, that when I was listening to Eyex talk about it, like I got a visual in my mind, or I watched videos that then made it more of like a connecting thought. Like I can see what he's talking about and why that's so valid. Because I still remember the first time I realistically, like I've seen Krump, but I went to your joint, the Beast Camp Championships that you had. Yeah, I will never forget it.
You were front row.
Because of that, bro. I was up on that stage losing my mind. That energy, and I know what the session does to help you build to that. You know what I mean? Or like y'all just create an environment that's like almost still like a session, but it's literally just on stage or you battling. You know what I mean? I feel like there's core elements of what y'all do that come from those sessions. So I feel like that was a valid piece to speak on. And then if you wanted to have something to elaborate like on the session, the core elements of that.
Yeah, I mean the session is such a safe space to just one, be yourself and to figure out yourself, you know. So one thing that is like you always knew, but when someone tells you, it's like, oh, like,
of course,
yeah. So what Tadai said, like in the session, that's where like the whole thing of like, yo, well, one is like, yo, you're like for me, I just kept killing off. Like I just had good timing, and I think because musically, I knew when to do a certain move or a certain like blow up, I guess. And then it's like, it's over, it's a kill off. And then, you know, when I started touching my hat and my shoes, it was easier for me. So people say, yo, like, you're like a kill off person. You should battle another kill off person, like an OG, like Hurricane. In our place, we have an OG Hurricane who actually innovated a lot of our moves with hats and shoes. So, yeah, so that's where you start to build your identity. So, like, yo, you're like a buck person. You remind me of so and so. You should be under him because you remind, you know. So that's where you figure yourself out in the session, and then that's why the battles, like what you said, it builds up to that. So that's why when I battled Tadai's, that's what happened too, because what I was doing and built up, it was like, yo, I feel like there's nothing for you to really do to prove yourself, but battle your big homie, because you did. You know, you won the championship. You beat the old champion, like the couple months before that. You know, you debatably like beat Miho. You know what I mean? Like the other creator, and like you're just beating everybody. You're teaching. You're doing basically everything. Like you look like him. You know, just another version. I think it's time for you to battle him. So you know, and that's why that's how battle should be set up.
I get you.
For it to be epic and have like its own storyline. So yeah, that's what the session does. Like you get to find yourself, you get to find your niche, and then you could learn all these other things, but don't forget about your niche. You know, I know for me, my niche is like performance, speed, and like those are the things that I like to do. So I like to perform and make things like oh shoot, like crowd pleasing. Sure. But I learned all that in the session.
Right.
If you want to get deeper, you could even find yourself as a person too in the session.
Sure, so, I get you. That's valid. Yeah. I was gonna speak on it in a way where I feel like it's a correlation to the session because, again, this is something that I feel like every time I talk about Krump, it's like this word is like it's brought up every time. There's never a time I think I talk to somebody about Krump and they don't talk about that energy. And I'm not even just talking about the energy y'all have amongst your rounds. It's like I can go to what I talked about, which was your event, which we will talk about later. And I've been in dance for a minute, and I have never felt the way that I felt when I left your joint due to the energy of the rounds and as well as the energy of the people. Like dead ass, when you was talking about people just standing or people kind of just watching and all these other type of lingering things where they'll give you love and stuff, but it was so contagious to me that I felt like I damn near wanted to leave what the fuck I'm on, because this didn't even feel relevant to me no more, because what this was talking about right here, it automatically had me coming in. So the energy, I even heard people talk about it in a way, it's like, if you're not giving energy, don't get off. Get away. Don't, because this right here is special. So I wanted to have you talk about that energy aspect of the dance too.
Yeah, I mean, hype is so special to us, and it's special to us in different ways. So let me see how I could break it down. I mean, with one, you give, you know, you get what you give, you know.
Sure.
So for us, we live by that standard. So if someone is giving us literally 100% per move, and we're not giving it back, that's something for us to, you know, check on our people, because we know. That's why every time when people take class from me, and then we maybe only go like 2-3 basics, I say, so you know how hard it is to do this, even physically, not mentally, you know, like every dance style, like mentally you're like, yo, where do I put it? But physically, you have to literally go 100%. Gotcha. And like, now that you know how hard it is, why don't you want to, like, that should make you want to encourage them, because that takes a lot. So it's that, but it could be the opposite effect. If like, they're not getting off, maybe people just need that encouragement to get off,
Sure.
Yeah, so there's that. It's either they're giving, but even if they're not, you want to give them a chance to uplift them, so we don't just hype like woo
Just
or
to
wow,
do it.
or any of the, like, we literally hype like words and sentences. I think like I posted something on Instagram where Todd Eyes was hyping, and he was just saying all these different modes. He was like beast mode, so I was like turning whatever he said, I just started to do like beast mode. He was like performance mode, groove mode. So that helped out my round, because he knew I was hella tired, like from what I was doing. But that was one of my best rounds because of that encouragement.
That transfer, that transfer of energy, man.
Yeah, and then like, so that's why with hype, we encourage that a lot, and for me, this is my personal opinion. It also teaches you to be in the moment. Like, how people, if we're on the side, there's the dancer in the middle, and you're kind of thinking about your round. You're not in the moment. Then you're not present.
Sure.
If you're in the present, you're gonna watch, and you're gonna literally be in their round, and Krump allows that. Like, you can literally go in front of them, and I could put my arm out, and if they want to, they could like dance on that arm. I'm like, oh shoot, like, I could hype, so for me,
really
it helps
hope
me.
people listening to this part. Man.
It really helps you be present in the session, and that's why, I always say the session isn't just when you're dancing, it's when you're watching, it's when, like, it's because it's the whole piece, bro. So
you can't just do one part of it and exclude the other.
Right. And since we're around that environment a lot, of course it's gonna start to come out in your regular life and in your personality. Like, I love Mad Lines, because she started to come around to my Mondays, and you can see the transformation of her height too. Usually it's like, and then she just started to scream. I remember one Monday she was like, "Rah!" Like, she did a crazy roar, and I looked at her, and I was like, yo, that's tight. But it's crazy just how, the
development,
and just her personality too. So like you said, the energy is so contagious. Like, you're gonna want to be hype,
of course,
in real life too. Like, if your homie does something dope, you want to encourage them. If they're down, you want to encourage them, and then
lift them up. I feel like the main thing that I know I always saw, that for you I would want to speak on, because in that space, you got Tight Eyes and Miho, and if I see them like validating what I'm doing, I'm like, you can't touch me right now. You understand what I mean? Like, I'm doing what they created. So in a way, like, I don't care what you talking about, but I believe them. Like, some people, you know what I mean, they just give you like a good job. You did great. And I go watch the footage, they right there just so I'm like, nah, did I do good? But I believe y'all when that energy is thrown at me, even in the times that I could say, like, if I speak on my experiences when I went to try to do Krump, and I mean, it took the wind out my motherfucking lungs after I left some of them Beast Camp sessions that you had. But I felt that energy that pushed me to that point, that then always made me feel like I have love for what Krump is and how you put it together. You know what I mean? But in those moments, say like when we talked about you battling Tight Eyes, what does that mean for you? You know what I mean? Because that's the source, or one of the sources. Because I want to talk to Miho just as bad. But for you in that moment, what does that speak to you?
It meant a lot, because one, it's Tight Eyes,
right?
Just that, and two, it was in my hometown,
right?
It was my event too,
right?
And I was the organizer, with my team. You know what I mean?
Talk to them
if they're here or not, but that team did that. So and then even from a teacher aspect, like it was just amazing. But even culturally too, like the OGs came out, like the OGs that we haven't seen in years came out, because they're like, with them is like, is this the guy that's gonna take down Tight Eyes? And but see, that's the thing culturally, was that like that was the thing that I kind of wanted to break, because people were asking me like, yo, are you beefing with Todd Eyes? And I was like, what? Because
Automatically paint that picture.
that was such a thing. Like if Todd Eyes was in the main event card, it was because like he about to get dropped because the story built up to that to where like
Sure. The people is talking too much.
Right. And I said no. Like I remember the same day I was still making my intro for, you know, because we were busy making, and then Todd Eyes went up to me. He's like, yo, like, are you making something to kill me off? I said, go away, man. Like, you know, so, and it was just special to me because, you know, we talked about it numerous times, like right after the battle, couple days. I drove to Vegas when he was living there. We drove, just like, you know, talked about it. And it was special because of that, like that our friendship stayed intact and even got better. And I've seen people like when they battle Todd Eyes, like their career is over, or people falsely say you're the one to beat them, and their head gets like this, and then those same people that say you're the one that's to do it, in the midst of the battle, they're the ones hyping against you when Chez is being Chez. So it messes people up mentally, like, wait, y'all told me to do this,
people
but
ain't
now...
slick. Yeah, they say a whole lot. Yep.
Right, so that's why I say don't let people gas you up like
fall for
that,
the hype,
like
man.
that. You know, because that's what's happening to me now. People are like, yo, I think you could beat Beast. And then when it happens, I see them, like, get discouraged. Whatever. I didn't feel like that. I just said, yo. And, you know, I said, and I was kind of right. I said, who knows, like, what the world is going to be. So if this is the right opportunity to battle you at a big stage, like, and I want to get that over with, that's cool. And then now, the pandemic and stuff, and, you know, his career changed, my career changed, you know, like. Of course. Yes, but I think that's what meant the most to me, was that, like, culturally, it was okay to battle, like, Todd Eyes, like, without the heavy drama behind it, you know, and it was really something for me to uplift his talent. Like, yo, this is my biggest platform now, which is the event, and I still want you to be the star.
I got you.
Like, it could be me, but let's share that stage. I
understand that completely.
You know, and that's something that we should always do to our mentors, or for whoever, like, brought us in, is like, yo, if it wasn't for Todd Eyes, like, on some Kobe and, like, Michael Jordan, like, you know, don't compare us, because if it wasn't for Michael, there would be, like, no Kobe, no rest in peace. You know what I mean? So same with me, like, you know, people can compare all they want or whatever, but, or say I'm the new this or whatever, but if it wasn't for Todd Eyes, like, there would be nothing, like, not even near that.
I got you. Yeah. You talk a lot about, too, like, the communities and the cultures. What I've, from the outside looking, I actually idolize, or, like, if that's the correct way, like, I really respect what y'all do in terms of that space, because when I look at some of the things that I guess I can assess from what you guys do and what I feel like we don't do on this side, y'all have so many things that I've seen where I'm going to start to talk more about, you know, everything that you've built within Beast Camp. Where there was people, you know what I mean, that didn't do Krump. I feel like when it started to mesh within the dance scene a little bit more, there was people that I knew that didn't do it. Then, you know, you kind of post those things on your Instagram, you know, a week later, this is the results type stuff. But I see people 2 years later, like, nigga, was you doing Krump the whole time? You look like you seasoned now.
I hate it, though. It's like, it's y'all getting fast too quick. What?
Sure. I can see that. It was just something that caught me off guard.
It's about to be you too. Watch.
Nah, well, I mean, sure, I would like to. I still got to tap in a little bit more. To see that development within that structure that y'all have, either something that you kind of created, or at least something that you took from what Krump has allowed you to kind of figure out for how you want the structure to be, for that side of the development. Because on this side, I'm more so doing a lot of these things on the channel now, because there's so many people that constantly keep asking me all these questions about how to get to this space within their dance, but they don't have they say, where can I go? And I'm like, I can't think of nothing. You know, I don't know I can take you to a person for a private, but I don't know what space you can go to develop your dance, your art, you know, and for everything that I'm seeing you do, especially in today's time, I'm super appreciative to see you pushing for the community, for the culture, and for the dance and the way that you're doing it. So I first just wanted to say respect. Like,
thank you,
I love everything that's going on, and I wanted to have you talk a little bit about, like, what got you to want to create this camp, this way of going about teaching people and mentoring and all that different type of stuff.
Yeah. So one thing about me too, besides, like, musically, you know, I I could say I'm like an athlete because I was following my big sister footsteps for a while. So whatever sport she did, I just followed. So basketball, tennis, whatever. But then with my oldest brother, he showed me like football and then martial arts. So I was like, okay. So I was getting into martial arts, and then Bruce Lee and all that, and UFC. So I was into UFC like way like 2008. Heavy. Yeah, like way like the first Ultimate Fighter like season.
Oh,
type
WWE.
Stuff. Yeah. I transitioned though. Once Goldberg and Brock Lesnar left, I left. Once Stone Cold and The Rock left, I left.
Yeah, no, I'm
when John Cena was the star, I said, dang,
I gotta
all
go.
right. Yeah. So I went to UFC, and I was like, all right, it's more raw, and then
I hear you.
So I me and the homies were watching UFC, and then they're like, yo, so for this fight, I train at this camp. And I said, yo, that's pretty dope, because in Krump culture, like for the longest, because a lot of it was influenced by just gang culture too, towards like FAMs was the mirror or like the substitute for gangs.
Right.
But a lot of the rules was kind of reflected and kind of influenced on that, right? So it's like, if you're in this fam, you cannot train with nobody else. If you're trying to get under this person, then don't even, so it was kind of like that. So I started to say like, well, what if I help people just get to where they want to be? They don't even got to be under me. I could just help them be wherever they at. So so that's when I was like, instead of calling it Beast Fam, let's just call it Beast Camp. So for the people that I see in the community like that needs help, like, yo, like you have potential, I just want to help you. It's like, and then if you want to be under so and so, do that. If later on you want to be under me, that's cool too. But I just see you have potential. So that's where it started. So, and then it was just always like that. And then we started to expand more when the Cypher Spot came around, to where now I started to do it publicly. Because I used to do this behind the scenes with like Soldier Eyes, with the homie Facey, and then even Dread too.
How long we talking? So, like a year or
like
longer?
From like 2012, I think, was when I came up with the idea, and just going around sessions privately teaching them, and just bringing in people. Just same thing what I'm doing now, like with the mob. What you see, that's why you always see me just do kind of the invite only right now. Just say, hey, you say you want to learn. Let me see if you're serious.
I get you.
So 2013, 14, maybe until like 2016, 17. That's when I first did the first public Beast Camp and started to just train people, and then do like the free classes too. And then a lot of people came out of that, like Cassie, like she started to go under Yaya with that. Kill Bill, who just hosted the Wasteland, he went under DC, and he was in a lot of my classes too. So I mean, I felt like we were just so raw, like we kind of needed that open space to be like, yo, like it's okay to train with people, and then you just got to find a balance to be loyal. So that was just my motivation. Like, I felt like I was always meant to be like a teacher or like a person that guide, because my mom was like a biggest influence because with her line of work. So and then as you see till today, we got to do that with the website, to even share some of my knowledge for it to be accessible like that. And then with the mob.
What's that website? What's that website?
thebeastcamp.com.
Okay, all right now. Y'all heard it's a .com too. That shit is legit. I wanted to have you elaborate on like what it is that you like, or at least how you teach, kind of like the important elements to facilitate growth in Krump.
It's a lot of elements for sure. For sure, you just have to be tapped into the culture. Whether if it's a certain session, Thank you. So we have DC sessions on Mondays. If y'all want more info, just hit me up.
Respect to
818 on Wednesday night at NoHo Park. And then I do some stuff, but for now I'm just more focusing on my people and the people that reach out to me personally and that I have a connection with. And then and there's even like new sessions. It's in Nogales. It's kind of like further out there. So there's sessions around here. So that's one thing. The newest one is to take class, like that's still kind of a struggle because
I get you.
you know, to take class in general is kind of a weird subject for any class or for any style. But
sure,
you have to learn. Like, why not get the resources? You know,
I got you.
And if it's credible, like not just with me, but Miho has some, Tadai's has some. Like that's, and then even some on YouTube for free. Crazy. If I had that,
make sure y'all watch the right people though, please.
If I even had these YouTube tutorials out now. Yeah. But anyways, so that, and I think those are the two main ones.
I got you.
Just be in there. Oh no, actually, that's kind of the third one too. We have YouTube to do your own research. You know, a lot of the Krump Kings DVDs are on there. Just look up Krump King DVD.
Study.
The full DVD on there, you know, and you get to see the evolution of Krump. Certain YouTube channels, you get to see like the battles, what took place, and sessions and stuff like that. I mean, we're so accessible with Instagram. Start to follow your favorite dancers and whatnot, and see what they're like, what they do, and it's So I think do your own research, be in a community, and take class.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you, man. I don't even know. I feel like I can talk with you all goddamn day, and I don't want to hold you up too long.
Nah, you good.
I kind of wanted to just start elaborating a little bit on some of these questions. Some of the people had listed for me, and I already dropped one on you that you answered. But someone wanted me to ask, how satisfied are you with Beast Camp right now? And then like what kind of like in the future are you like, or do you have things that you plan and like you want to take it even further than where you are now? I'm super, like, it's a blessing. I mean, with all the stuff that we went through and is currently going through, I mean, it's tough, man. It's really tough to be innovative and be an innovator in a culture that has so much rules that sometimes you have to, you know, kind of grab onto and say, I gotta talk one more.
Right. And say like, yo, like, is it okay? You know, I had to really sit down and talk to the OGs like Tadai's, Miss Prissy, you know, nice. Big Miho, and say, is this okay? Can I do this? I want you. Like, that's tough. Like that's
got you. Yeah.
That's really like, those are the big bosses, you know, even though like I'm not employed by them, but this is their stuff.
Right.
That I'm like handling, and it's like this, you know, so it's a big responsibility, and I hope everyone that teaches Krump like in that level respects it that much, because I respect the craft so much to where, like, you know, so I'm really happy with that. I mean, it's a struggle, but we didn't expect it to be this big. Like I said, we just wanted to do what was the right thing. And I said, well,
1,000%.
Right, in the pandemic, you know, we needed classes. So I said, okay, everyone's jumping on the online classes. I said, well, how can I change that? And how could I make it me? So when I started to do that, and it was really from popping too, I was taking a Boogie Frantics class.
He's next.
On Steezy, and when he did the call and response, boom, boom, bang, bang, and then the students followed. I said, what if I did that with Krump? Instead of just, you know, most of the time, if it was video, you know, it was just a straight, all right, a jab is this, all right, a chest pump is this. You know, it wasn't really like training, and bang, and then you get to follow.
I get you. That's beautiful. That connection too.
And right, and then the second part to that question is, we always want to innovate. We always want to see how much more can we give to the community, let them be a part of it too. So with clothing, you know, like if they feel like they're a part of it just by rocking a shirt, you know what I mean, or rocking a sweater or all that. And for me personally, I mean, I would love to keep like collabing with people. I think one of my passions right now is to really collab with like the raw street dancers. And I mean, I know I ain't that IG famous, but you know, like what I did with Sage, like I think he's raw as hell. Like,
which is on the YouTube channel right now.
Like look at him real quick, you know. So and then with you too, like with Mad Lines, I would love to collab with people like that. And then my biggest goal is to even take it, like my team, into like I wish like America's Best Dance Crew was out or something like that, but some type of platform like that. You know what I'm saying? Like some type of platform to where we get to do or create our own platform
Of
to
course,
where
yes,
we can
man.
do, you know.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking, man.
Yeah,
I hear you on that,
yeah.
1,000%. I also wanted to touch on like these two things that you kind of just revitalized in terms of like how I'm looking at what I want to end the conversation with. The respect towards like what you had mentioned towards like the culture where it comes from, all those things of that nature, like the love people have for a particular style, more so focusing on today's generation. Sometimes it's like people want that instant gratification and they skip proper steps. That I'm like, if you have the love for the dance that you say you have, watching them tapes that you're talking about, or going the distance to drive a certain, couple hours or an hour, like I feel like that would be well worth it to be able to properly get like understanding of the style foundation, surround yourself with people kind of like how you spoke on. You didn't even get to Eyes until like 4 or 5 years later. You know what I mean? People, you have the option that if they host an open session, you could just make a little drive and go to some of these sources that people did not have options to be with early on. So that was one thing for me, because sometimes even when I work with people, they move wise, they like, can I get that? Can I get some tight shit? And I'm like, well, I don't really know what tight shit is. I can give you some core pieces to help you get to whatever that tight shit is for you. But other than that, when you started speaking on like being able to adapt with the times, I wanted to go ahead, because I know I wanted to talk about the generational differences, but how you kind of go about assessing the evolutionary period when we're here, but this shit started, 15 years ago. So how do you keep this, but make it this to make it accessible for the people that don't live that life, which is now like a damn near every dancer. I don't care how hard they act. I don't care where they like how they talking. You will not this from where it came from. So I don't even believe you, first of all. But just in terms of how you go about teaching or how you go about creating a space from what it was and keep those elements like you said, how do you handle that?
Man, that's a doozy.
I
because
had to hit you with that.
Nah, you good. I mean, that's such a big topic to talk about, because like what we were talking about before, like it's almost like extinct, like the stuff that we experience, and even people that came before me, what they experienced, it's just passed down through stories, so it's kind of fairy tale, like what's Krump really that, I remember Todd Eyes was telling me like, Slayer picked up Miho and did a F5. He F Miho on
the same
table.
Miho that I know, the big motherfucker.
Yeah,
that Miho.
And so Krump was that crazy, so for Ches to be like, for people saying, like Krump is so physical, when that whole thing with B-Boy Jr. thing happened, it was like that. You know what I mean? Like where T-Fly, he's an artist right now, the old baby Todd Eyes, like he speared a girl like in mid battle, boom, and they both start getting off together, having a good time, like. So I'm over here like, it's like fairy tales. I'm like, right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, and the same with Miho. Like, he just said, look, I had to let it happen, and and that's why when even I battled Miho and I put him in my shirt, and I was like, and he was letting me do it. I said, what is going on? So, I'm just saying that because, it's tough, man. Like that's why stories need to get passed down. That's one. But then we do have to, even for me, we do have to find that balance of creating that. But because like where we're at now, where a lot of stuff is getting called out, a lot of stuff is getting labeled, which is great because a lot of healing is happening. But there needs to be a balance too of like, well, you want to throw this jab, but this jab has like trauma behind it, like has like experience behind it. That's why it's authentic versus like, that's why when we're like, we don't feel you, but how is that possible? When it's the same dang movement. Like I could teach this to anybody, but people are like, yo, I felt just one jab. Like,
I got you.
You could just feel that right now because there's years of
the weight
what I went through. Right. So we have to find that. We have to find that balance. And again, going back, there's a good like little recap going back to that's why sessions are important. Those are just places to where maybe these situations of confrontation of, you know, like could happen, but we can't be as OD as like spearing people or as long, or if they're okay with it, that's why you do your research. So when you see these research and like, oh, I'm in this world, that kind of allows that. So you should know what you're kind of getting yourself into, you know.
Respect it. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, it's is that. So we do have to find that balance, but yeah, it's tough, and that's why I said with classes, I mean, that's always a big thing because with, you know, some of the people that's been here the longest, it's like, oh, like, you know, that's the easy way out. That's I agree to a certain extent, but it's also something that like, well, if you had it, you know, when you first started, you would for sure take it, but because you have this experience behind you, you're against it. So
right. Yeah, I've had quite a few people, you know, tell me they don't know if they could do it, like because they don't feel no connection towards the culture that it comes from, but maybe they're so moved by, again, all these different elements that make Krump exciting, they want to partake in it, and they like, I don't know if I can.
Right, but that's the thing too, talking about keep elevating. Yeah, we have, and that's what I love about Krump and even like the creators, is that they're so open to change, to as long as, again, we find that balance. So I feel like the next generation of Krumpers is gonna be like the Kyles, the Mad Lines, the fused people. Like, it's scary even for me. That's why you see me training in other stuff, because I'm like, yo, when they get better, they're gonna have something over me, not just physically, but you know, like I was even talking to Kyle about it like yesterday. I was like, so with Chicago footwear, like you just always battle the speaker, right? Like you always, you know, I was like, that's why you're a bowhead. And then we were kind of breaking that down. I said, dang, that's crazy. So it's scary for me, to be honest, because there's stuff that, you know, musically, body wise, like conceptually, that other dance styles can offer and can compete. Like what we just saw with me, and like if Arsenal starts crumping, what
mixes
like,
that with what he already got,
and,
you know what I mean?
You know, so as you already see people who already jumped in, like Yaya, you know what I mean? Like she just ate that up within a year or two and still going, which is crazy. So I think that's like going to be the new generation of Krumpers, and I think it's gonna be interesting because they already have their history with dance anyways. So a lot of the people that's coming in kind of feel what we feel, like what we went through within their scene, or like, I wish we kind of did it your way. And that's the dope exchanges like what me and Sage were having. We're like, yo, you know, like in my culture, we don't really do what you guys are doing. So that's what makes me do this. And I was like, oh, same with you. Like, I think that would be dope if we had more freedom like you, but you want our discipline, or, you know, so it's exciting, man.
That's valid. That's valid for sure, man. I got to go practice right now after this conversation. Look, big dog, I want you to kind of like drop this on the people, man.
Go ahead.
Like anything that you working on that they can then, you know, participate in, whether that be if it's something that's directly through the website, how to get in contact with you, anything that's going to allow them to connect so they can, you know, work with you in a sense, if that's possible.
Yeah, of course, with the website, just to give you guys an exclusive background. I mean, I'm always teaching, but I do love to use it as a platform. Miss Prissy and Daisy, you know, we've been working for a couple months to do like a female program, but not just only for females, but female teachers.
But still,
so
right.
So my goal was to have the biggest name female to be the teachers as like the first guest
too.
Yeah, so with that, I mean, we're always doing that, merch and stuff. I think what comes to mind is, especially with the world opening up, and like I'm starting to get booked for classes, my classes are going to be a little bit different because it's going to have more of a personal way of how I view training and dance. And like, you know, if you come through on the Mondays, you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like I create space to where we just warm up, like we get to be in our bodies, maybe we get to lay down. And you know, the homegirl, shout out to her, Cat Wolf, she plays live piano, and we just, you know, like literally be in a meditative state before we
remember
dance.
that.
So, you know what I mean? Like we get to journal, we get to do that. So that's something that I'm excited about, because I know like my representation, or I'm just represented as like a good teacher, one of the best teachers in here, which, you know, that's my biggest pride, is because, you know, but the way I want to teach now is so exciting. So I'm actually, I think there's a few spots, but next Tuesday, it's actually free too at the Mob. You just have to register with Zulu Dance Foundation. I think that's their IG.
Check that out.
So it's 50 people, but I think there's like 10 spots left. So
if anything, I might just try to see if I can just combine your links, put that in the description or comment section, so they can just automatically click that to connect.
So that's what mainly I've been working on since the whole pandemic. So when I created Beastville, you know, I needed to innovate how I teach and hold space for people coming into not just my space, but into my life. So you're dealing with me, not just baby Tada. So you're dealing with my moods. Some Mondays I come in like antsy, you know, some I come in depressed as fuck. So you know, so for us,
transparent.
Right. So for us to create a space to where we can kind of mellow out, let go of all that, and then still be able to perform, I think is so important. So
I hear you on that. I hear you on that. I personally want to speak from the outside again, just to say the amount of people I've seen you work with, develop, and properly give mentorship, guidance to, leadership. It's exciting for me personally, again, just coming from that space where I don't see that being something that's happening too often, but I can see that not more so through your words, but I see that through these dancers. Like I can literally see that to where you don't have to say nothing. I can just, you know, they speaking for you in a sense. So everything that you developing, man, I'm just happy that you're doing that to keep the dance alive. Because when I talked about maybe certain elements of what's happening from the previous generations to now, and there's a lot of things, if I look at social medias and things of that nature, sometimes I'm not even inspired. Like I don't know if I want to. I have my own motivation, but looking out, you know, I kind of gravitate towards the things that you do from that setting to where I'm like, okay, it's still there. I still see some people moving in this direction where I feel like it gives me life to continue to want to educate or give knowledge and not make them see it how I see it, but just give them that proper, like you said, stories and everything to help them with what they're trying to do in today's generation. So thank you for what you do, man.
Yeah, we have to conserve it, bro. So what you're doing now, like if we look back at it like 5 years, this is going to be a big part of like dance history, bro, because this is going to be part of people's research for who was the guy or who was the people around this time. You're providing that. So big ups to you, bro.
I really want to do that. Thank you, man. Because even that transitional period for me, like I don't look at myself as anything. So now I have people in my ear, like, oh, you that guy? I'm like, nah, I'm just metal,
watch.
Man. But yeah, nah, you're right. I got to give myself some credit too.
Yeah. You know? It's inspiring me, bro, because I do want to bring back my podcast and even just you using this platform. I mean, I want to do these same conversations with the people in my community and then some. So you inspired me today too.
I appreciate
that. Before we press record, we were over here like, yo, like what does this button do, you know? So as a person providing these type of content, like you're doing your thing, bro. And
I'm trying, man. I want to create these conversations, bro. Like now that I'm fully tapped in on it, I want to, like you said, look back and feel like I'm giving as much as I possibly can for something that meant everything to me, like changed my whole life. And the amount of people that, you know, unfortunately can't be in certain privileged positions like myself to just, you know, talk to you. Like they're like, damn, you know, baby tight eyes, beef, like that's crazy. I'll you know, or like Slims and all these other people that are like big names. It's like we have so much here, but then there's not, like, again, they'll be like, yeah, where can I go? I'm like, I don't know. You don't have to hit them up personally, I guess, or something like that. But the last thing, right before we get up out of here, man, I gotta know this for myself. Because this shit for titles and understanding, man, is it eyes with an X or eyes with a Z?
For now, it's eyes with an X. Yeah.
X. Is there history on why the? there a Z?
I heard a lot of stories about it. The one that I hold close to me is when Todd Eyes found out. I think this is like, yeah, I think he changed it before this happened, but then he made the meaning to this, and that's what I stuck to, which was when his mother went to the hospital. Yeah,
I heard him speak on that a little bit.
And that's when the X just like kind of changed. It just changed like the meaning of it, because Todd Eyes was her idea. She gave him that nickname. Wow. So it kind of like he needed to switch it up a bit, kind of like Jordan with 23 and 40.
I get you. Yeah, 45, yeah. I get you.
So yeah, I heard it was like just something else with like style wise and all that. But as you progress, your meanings progress too. But you know, for me as a student, you have the privilege to hold on to what you want to. But as the innovator, you got to keep going to the next. But yeah, so I think I don't know.
That... Go ahead.
No, I just said I don't know what it means to him now.
I get you though.
What holds on is like, you know, you just never know what's gonna happen. So yeah, and I hold that dear with like the mother-son relationship too.
I got no, yeah, that's heavy. I didn't even know it was coming from that. So that's actually beautiful. That I'm glad you were able to speak on like briefly, because eventually at one point I want to get both of them. If I can get Miho and all.
Yeah, man, it's gonna happen.
But even for you, like with the whole Beast and Tight Eyes or Baby Tight Eyes, like your other personas, is there a certain like when you want to go under Beast or you go under Baby Tight Eyes, or is it like how do you balance those?
Yeah, you mean like who do I when I
like
tap
identify with, like even in your round, because some
right.
You know what I mean, is that a Beast to you, or is this you know what I mean when you want to do those type of things?
I was just talking to Kyle about this because I have a Beast Striker that's with a twin style
which you mentioned earlier.
Street Beast, which was a kind of a persona I needed to bring myself back to like before the fame, before this, before that. I was just in the street, you know. And then Baby Todd Eyes. So yeah, Baby Todd Eyes is like, you know, when I need to represent Todd Eyes, and like when I battled Lady C4 and it was a Todd Eyes event, the Buckster.
New video that just came out recently.
Yeah, like damn, 2 battles dropped this week. Let's go.
I'm saying, man, my man is working. I tried to tell y'all.
But yeah. So yeah, with Todd Eyes, you know, that's like performer mode, you know. When I tap into Beast, I was talking to Kyle about that. Like Beast is like the avatar, so I cheat because it's kind of like what Bruce Lee said. Like he doesn't really believe in styles because it kind of like crystallizes you, and kind of it's good to put limitations, but when you do, especially in dance, like, oh shoot, this is a Todd Eyes way to do it. Damn, I'm Beast though. Whoops, and you miss that moment. I kind of don't want that moment anymore. It's like, okay, like this. Oh, I guess I'm Baby Eyes for this little second, and then I'm back to the main like Beast character, which is Bruce Lee too, or like heavily influenced by Bruce Lee. So yeah, it's hard, you know, especially with Krump. You deal with so many moods and so many, you know, things, and you surprise yourself too, and the way you react, because I label it like, you know, with Stryker, he's more of a goofball, like a Deadpool type of character. If I swing and like one time I thought I like dislocated my shoulder, so I looked at it and I like kind of laughed it off though, and then I was like, oh shoot, but I'm not in that character. I was like, nah, like I should let that, you know,
just live on its own type thing.
Yeah, just let it live. And I think that's my advice too, is like, don't be so stuck on like a certain way to express, because the moment, the music, the people, the environment can influence that. And you know,
man,
live in the moment.
Even in the moment when I was watching your battle the other day, when you sent West home with the rag, you almost had me dislocate my shit. I was about to start rocking with you, and I said, no, I can't do that. But the energy, you almost had me, man. You almost had me. But again, I gotta say thank you, man, for coming through. It was an honor to be in this space with you, to conversate like this. I feel like there was so much that people could sit down and understand and help them understand what they want to do, whether it be in Krump, dance, or just to hear your understanding of how you kind of built your rounds and your dance. So again, thank you for everything, man.
Thank
I
you,
forever
man.
appreciate this.
You're a great host, bro. You're a great host.
Appreciate you. Everybody, if you don't blow this shit up, something might be wrong, man. I need the comments and the likes up the ass. Go flood his Instagram. Go flood his Beast Camp Instagram. As a matter of fact, you need to subscribe to his. If you're not subscribed to his Beast Camp, just leave. Get out. You don't deserve this information. Go follow his YouTube channel and tap in. You understand what I mean? Like he said, he just dropped a battle on his channel, and he got one that we watched earlier. You know what I mean? So we working right now. We working. It's a little bit of overtime, actually. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everything. And I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all. All right? Peace.